Hello, Lisa Richard here with Loving Energy Recharge, coming in to talk about the inner alchemy for April the 27th, leading us forward into May the 2nd. Now, inner alchemy is a journey through the teachings of human design, branching out into what we are learning through the gene keys, and also incorporating our teaching as a Lightworker coach. Inner alchemy is an opportunity to look at the current energies that are around us and look at how the shadow aspect plays into our own lives, how the dilemma shows up in our own lives, and to then learn how to incorporate more of the gift aspect that is available. So it's a process of learning how to move yourself from a lower vibrating energy to a higher vibrating energy by really focusing on doing the work for yourself and claiming ownership and responsibility for your own energetic vibration. Now, if you are new to human design, you can visit my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. You can enroll in our free Introduction to Human Design course and follow the links to obtain your human design birth chart. And we're now going to take a look at entering into gate 24 for this period of time, which is going to bring us up into our ajna. So in the teachings of human design, the ajna can be seen as your third eye awareness. This is also about using the forward thinking components of your brain. So think of this in terms of innovation, solution-based thinking, being able to observe yourself from a higher perspective, and or being stuck in your mindset, being stuck in an opinion, and being stuck in your own stories and your own perception of reality. So we have many different opportunities when we are led up to the ajna center to self-actualize, to do some inner reflecting, and to use our ability to parent ourselves. In the course that I am currently teaching on the 3 awareness centers, the ajna is like looking at yourself as the mother or the father. So you're stepping into a place of being the parent to your inner child, to these energies that are arising for you, to learn how to teach yourself, to guide yourself, to acknowledge questions that are coming up for you, and to take the time to educate, to explain, to nurture, and to cultivate a deeper awareness in your own maturity. Now, we are in Taurus season right now, so Taurus is the bull. This comes with some heavier earth energy. There's some density to that where we can either be really stuck in our minds and in our ways and in our stubbornness, and or we use that as an opportunity to push through some big obstacles that have been standing in our way. So this is also the energy of, you know what, I'm going to persevere no matter what seems to be coming at me. If I know it's coming from a higher guidance, a heart-led energy, I'm going to know that the way through will be shown. So we're asked to really persevere during this time with whatever our heart is guiding us towards, but to also really notice, where are you trying to force an outcome and to force the energy instead of learning to ride through the waves of whatever is unfolding in this. So gate 24, the gate that we are entering in right now up in the ajna, is known as the gate of return. And entering the gate of return, it's like having an opportunity now to do a life review. And what they're asking of us is to go back to the end of March, to the very start of the spring equinox, to take a look at the patterns that we have gone through in the energy. So right after the spring equinox, we were guided up into that ajna center. We were here to examine our opinions, the concepts of politics, which means looking at how the world conditions us to choose a side. And then to ask yourself, you know, can you rise up to look at things through a higher lens? To know that there is this side and that side, but there's also another side that can consider all of it. So we had an opportunity right off the bat, starting in that ajna, to really harness the forward thinking brain as we are moving through this energy of what is known as the divine purge, to really see ourselves through the lens of the observer, to monitor our behaviors, our patterns, our judgments, all of these things that are keeping us stuck. So we also then traveled through 2 activations within the heart center. The heart being all about tribal energy, collective energy, my will or thy will, right? So a higher guidance of the will. It taught us about control. We had to look at our inner discipline and then move to authority. The gift of authority being, are you taking responsibility for what is yours to control? And are you releasing those things that are not of your control? So it really had us examine, where are we giving our power away to authority figures when our bodies know that that is not in our highest good? So we were asked to start asking questions on a global scale. We then moved into another gate within the heart, which is all about stimulating our agitation, what really gets on our nerves, so that we can learn how harsh we are on ourselves and on others when we feel agitated. And then to really sit with our own agitation, that uncomfortability, and go, okay, how can I take the initiative to mitigate my agitation and to learn to self-soothe my own feelings, my own nervous system? So there was a great opportunity there to do some parenting of the inner child who may get agitated when there's a lot of disturbances, when there's a lot of surprises, when you're pushed out of your comfort zone, when somebody's pushing your buttons. So opportunities there to do some self-examining. We were then brought into our sacral center, which is all about that life force energy, bringing that into the workplace, into the families, again, into the communities, right? This is building the new world, starting with how do we show up in there? So it brought us through the gate of increase and really looking at our expectations and the concept of when we have expectations, they lead to disappointments. So it's another form of control. We expect things to go in a certain direction, and when they don't go in that direction, we are disappointed. So we were taught to learn to become detached from an outcome of trying to manipulate the energy and allowing ourselves to know that through the gate of increase, when we do something that is heart guided and we do it from the purity of love, knowing that more are going to benefit from our actions, we learn to then release any sort of expectation of getting something in return, because we come from a place of understanding that what is in one is in the whole. Therefore, as you are doing things that benefit your highest good, you're also adding to the collective highest good. We were then moved into the gate of beginnings in the sacral center. So looking at chaos. Here we went through a period of time where, they're really shaking up the foundation of us, stimulating through change, bringing to the awareness, what are you clinging to? What are you not willing to part with? And in other words, what is really holding you down is you're trying to keep a structure in place for yourself, even though that's built on a false reality. So some examples were that of, really holding on to a job, but the reality is that job could disappear at any time. Really holding on to a certain routine that you need to have in order to feel your best. But if that routine is stripped away, how does that then affect you? So we're really looking at some of these structures that we have put in place in order to avoid chaos, which means that, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to suffer, but yet the human journey is one of suffering. And I know sometimes that's hard to understand, but when you view it through the lens of our ancestors walked a journey in a world that could be perceived as harder. And because of their perseverance and part of their dedication to that journey, it made our journey then easier. So we're all playing a role of learning to grow and evolve. And part of that does come with the ups and downs of life and having to go through our own suffering to kind of know, well, that's not the way I want to go. When we share the wisdom of that, then the generations to come have an easier and easier time. So it's no different than really tilling up the foundation, the soil of us, and picking out the weeds, picking out the rocks, adding in some nutrients that are going to really harness and cultivate the plants that are growing, the seeds that are growing. So it is a continual process of excavating and digging and renewing and reviewing and replenishing, and not being afraid to look at what is still in the foundation of you that is not serving the highest good. Now, we also just came out of the gate of nurturing. So that really brought us into the concept of selfishness and learning to be more considerate, which also means being considerate of yourself. Not giving from an empty cup, but learning to replenish your life force energy so that when you are giving on to others, they're getting from the fullness of your love and the fullness of your intentions, and they're not getting the resentment or the bitterness or the less than quality because you are depleted. So we were asked to really nourish ourselves first. And I had brought in the concept at that time of a quote by Mother Teresa, who said, if everyone was to clean off their own doorstep, the world would be a better place. And I interpret that to mean our auric field, right? Your doorstep. You are the house of you. This is the body of you. Whatever you are emanating out into the world, that's your doorstep. That is what people feel first. So when you are tuning into you and your energy and your projections and really doing your own inner work to clear away your irritations, your agitations, your control, your expectations, your chaos, your selfishness, and you're not afraid to say, you know what, I do that. Because we like to pretend that we don't make mistakes because we're so worried that other people are going to judge us. So we do have a tendency to want to hide everything under the rug, but guess what? You know it's there. Isn't it more beneficial to say, you know what? We are all perfectly imperfect. Let's be courageous enough to do the spring cleaning, to pull back the rug, to really look at those mountains that we have created because we haven't felt safe enough to dispose of them in a healthy way, and then bring ourselves into really having a stronger foundation of love and support and compassion and empathy. Because the thing is when you stop judging your own mistakes, you're going to stop judging others. And if you find that you have a tendency to look out in the world and have an opinion for everything, and it should go this way and it should look like this, and people doing that or doing it wrong, that's wrong behavior, that is really a reflection of judgment upon yourself. And it's a journey that I've really had to look at within my own being, and sometimes shocking to really examine, just how judgmental we really can be. But in looking judgment in the eye, now you have an opportunity for freedom. And that brings us into the current energy right now, this gate of returning, not being afraid to examine the past, to look through what we've just gone through over the last couple of weeks, to look at how we're still carrying things within ourselves, and to kind of do a bit of a final purge before the next quarter turn. And what is happening for us is right after this gate, so starting on May the 3rd, we enter into one of the directional gates. It's gate number 2 in the center of self, and it's known as the driver. Now, this is the halfway mark between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So this is like the halfway measuring point where you now get to examine how far have I come since planting seeds for a new beginning, a new version of self to really build something that's going to harness your full potential, to then moving towards the summer solstice, which is going to be a time of really experiencing life, right? Experiencing the fruit of your labor. So this is your check-in point to examine, are you letting the ego run the way? Are you letting the old patterns, the old mindsets run the way? Or are you allowing the higher vibrating energies that are coming online for you become the driver to show you the fruit of what you are able to cultivate, even though you may not know what that is, but you just have a sense of, this is my path. This is the way that is correct for me. And in doing so, allowing yourself to shed away what is holding you back from achieving that direction. So this is a pivotal energy push right now. This time frame, April 27th through to May the 2nd, we're looking at the shadow of addiction. And we're looking at the dilemma of gravity. So addiction is anything that you must do or you repeatedly do, but you know it holds you down. And I know for myself, food is a big one, right? Sugar can be highly addictive, and the body feels it. It feels the repercussions. So that is an example of gravity. I used to smoke. I know the pull into needing to spark a cigarette during certain times, right? There's another form of addiction. Social media. Let me tell you, Earth Day, I decided to give myself a day off where I unplugged. I had to turn my cell phone off in order to avoid the pull of the temptation to want to check it. And I was surprised at that addiction. So this energy right now is really encouraging you to examine the past, to look at the behaviors, to not try to figure everything out, right? You don't want to come from a mindset of needing to have all the answers, because you're also facing a fear of not knowing in this gate. And it's not about knowing all the answers. It's about sensing through the body what you know to be true for you. So really looking at, where is my addictive behavior? How is that weighing me down, that sense of gravity? And then stepping into the gift of invention. So if you were to invent ways and methods to really simplify your life, to release the hold on that addiction, to release the hold on the gravity, this is bringing you into light, the light body, the body that is free from being weighed down. So that is what the Ajna is all about. The forward-thinking mind, to know that you're more than just your body. You're more than just your mind. There's a relationship with calming the body, calming the mind, so the inner spirit can rise you up and bring you into all this energy that exists out here, where there's unlimited potential. So imagine all this space that is around us. Tons of opportunity gifted to us to create. What do you want to create? What do you want to add to that element of space that is around you? So use this time to really do your life review, to get clear on your shadows, to do the purge that is needing to be done, to then enter into the gate of the driver, to do your assessment of, okay, I'm clear on who gets to lead the way. I'm clear on the path that is calling to me. Even if I don't know the outcome, I'm clear in my direction. When we shift out of the gate of the driver, you are going to experience 7 activations in the throat center before we hit the summer solstice. This is reclaiming your divine voice. The throat center is all about communication, understanding. We all want to be seen and heard, and manifesting. It requires deep listening. It requires you to really tune in. It requires you to unblock what you have been metabolizing and asking, is it for the highest good? And apparently I have my own work to do because I can feel it. And I'm hoping that you can feel it as well, which is why these videos are raw and real, because I want you to learn through observation how the body talks to us, how our imperfection, our uncomfortabilities, our body signals us to do our own work. So here's an example of somebody who's still a work in progress, and proud of that. Because the more you are aware, the more opportunity you have to release and to listen and to attune to the higher vibrating frequencies. So if you'd like to journey with me through those 7 gate activations, I have just opened up a brand new course. It's available on my website, lovingenergyrecharge.com. And it is a gathering online for 7 weeks of inner transformations as we go through those 7 gates within the throat chakra. This requires you to do your own deep listening, your own contemplation. You will get the teachings of those gates, of the ingredients in there offered through the gene keys, and some questions to help you really self-actualize. How does that show up for you? Because you're the only one that can do your work. I'm the only one that can do mine. But together we can walk side by side in love and support and encouragement, because we all have the potential to grow, to bloom, and to cultivate a beautiful world. But it starts with your foundation. And it starts with the willingness to say, you know what? I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm responsible for what I am cultivating, and I'm willing to do the work. So I send you all much love during this beautiful energy. I would love to hear how this is playing out for you. If you want to drop a comment below. And I wish you all namaste. The light in me bows to the light in you.